What is up, boxing family? What is up, young world? The world is yours, as always. And what's up, Fight Hype family? And just gonna wait for some people to get into the chat, man. Then let's talk. Let's do some Monday morning quarterback on the Jake Paul Tommy Fury fight, and also, eventually get to that Subriel Matias Jeremiah Ponce fight that was on Showtime, and look ahead to Brandon Figueroa and Mark Magsayo. But of course, got to keep it real. All the talk and all the attention is still on the Jake Paul and the Tommy Fury fight. And we'll go into what happened and what it taught us, I guess, in boxing and at life at large, even a little bit. We'll get a little deep with it too as well. But happy Monday to everybody. Second to last day of February in here, holding it down from the high-tech Las Vegas headquarters of FightHype.com. It's your man Sean Zittel. And our first person in the chat is Manuel Jesus. Good to see you, brother. Saying Encada. You gotta help me out there. But just gonna hang out for another minute or two. Wait till we get in here. Okay, we got about 140 people in here now. Scubo Sly, what's up, brother? Man of Steel. Man of Steel saying Jake Paul just didn't have that experience. Well, that definitely played a role. Tommy Fury having those 12 amateur fights. Boxing since he was 10, 11 years old helped. No half measures saying seen more action in the school playground. Yeah, it was not a great fight by any means. Wasn't even really, that good a fight. Although it was competitive and there was suspense and drama, with all the hype around Jake Paul. Is he finally going to take the L or not? And so there was some suspense and some drama, but not a good or a great fight, and a lot of clinching done in that fight. But it turned out to be, the most hyped up fight between two prospects, in modern boxing history. One guy 6-0, an American prospect in Jake Paul, and then the other guy 8-0, the UK prospect, Tommy Fury. But there was so much showbiz and hype involved in the fight because Fury's, got the famous last name, and Jake Paul carrying that Disney fame, actually reunited with Disney, fighting on ESPN. But we'll get into it in just a moment. Rashawn Williams, what's up, brother? Thanks for being in the chat. George says, I wanted Jake Paul to win. Most people want him to lose. Jamal Fareed, good to see you, man. Or Fared, my fault. Salute Sean, Mods, and everyone in the chat. Carl Hunter Hansen, salute, brother, from down under. Good to see you, man. Good to have Australia in the house. Mill City Boxing, good to see you, brother. Happy to have you in the chat. Chucky in the house. Okay, I see you, man. Jeremiah, good to see Jeremiah. Molly Mall says prospects and put his... That's what they are, brother. They are prospects, and Jake Paul at 6-1, looks like some 6-1 guys I've seen get fed to blue chip prospects. But I didn't say blue chip prospects, but a couple of prospects. Yahoo saying, what's up, Sean? Jay Styles says it was a good fight for both of them. It was competitive, and I still I got to give Jake credit still, for starting so late, and I actually just interviewed Bernard Hopkins before I did the live. I had a great 40-minute interview with Bernard Hopkins. You guys should check out once it drops in the near future. But Bernard said, look, we knew this. If you know boxing, you knew he's never going to be a world champion. He'll never be near that level. But Bernard said, I got to give Jake credit for taking off the entertainment gloves and putting on, because he still considered it entertainment with the MMA fighters, Silva and Woodley. And he said, I got to give him credit. He put on the real Hurt Business gloves, the real boxing gloves against a boxer. And he fell short, but he gives him credit for that and expects a rematch. And I talked to Bernard about all these fights going overseas to Saudi Arabia and what boxing in America needs to do to keep the big fights at home. And Ryan and Tank and Plant and Benavidez and Terrence Crawford and all that. So be on the lookout for that. But it looks like Southpaw TV says, what's up, Fight Hype? I'm glad Jake lost. I got some messages from people in boxing that were happy Jake lost. And I don't think it's so much like a personal thing, even though, he grades on some people. He is a provocateur, right? Or an irritator. But it's just that, the societal part. And actually, I'll start there with the societal part. We'll start first with why Jake Paul lost the fight, and then we'll get a little deeper into that. But, excuse me for 1 minute here. Gotta bring this up. Here we go. All right, and And so that to start with the boxing reason, Jack, thank you for the $2 saying Fury beats him more convincingly in a rematch. Yeah, maybe Jack, maybe he does, although Fury does got to watch out because he was getting checked with that left hook down the stretch of that fight. Fury keeping both hands down. Fury, beautiful up jab, snapping jab from his hip, but, as I'm doing it, and Tommy Fury would kill me, but as I'm doing it, a lot of times guys that do the up jab, this is right here to still catch, or the chin's tucked, or something, the shoulder's there, or something. And what Tommy Fury started doing down the stretch, and this is why he got knocked down, was jabbing. That up jab was still nice, but he was doing it with both hands down. And so there was nothing blocking this side of his face, nothing. And Jake Paul began, to his credit, good timing because he was slower. He was, and when you're slower, your timing's got to be on point. Timing's got to beat speed. And down the stretch, Jake Paul started beating speed with his timing when he would time the jab of Tommy Fury, and he would time it with his left hook. And his left hook, did get better. All he, for the most part, just he doesn't have a lot of skills. It's just he's resourceful and makes it work around that right hand that lands at some point. And he never really landed it in this fight. He dropped Tommy Fury with a jab, and he actually landed his left hook more than anything else, taking advantage of Tommy keeping that right hand down, not chucking his chin, not even using his reflexes sometimes to try to just get out of the way of the shot or roll it at the last second. But yeah. So that's why Tommy got dropped in the 8th. And by the way, I thought Tommy won the fight 75-74. I scored the fight for Tommy Fury by a point. But Tommy still doesn't always sit down on his punches. He was faster than Jake Paul. But Jake steps into his shots to his credit. Actually, he steps into that jab a little bit too much, and it gets him off balance. And it doesn't allow him to set up that right hand with balance. It makes him telegraph the right hand and kind of lunge in at times. And a guy like Tommy Fury was able to see that coming and, pull back from it a number of times and make him fall short. But, yeah, Jake's got to work on that jab. His left hook did get a little bit better. But the reason why he dropped Tommy, too, is, Jake sits down on the punch to his credit. And again, he sits down a little bit too much on that jab, and that's why he gets him off balance, and he's not able to close distance behind a jab, to set up the right hand, or to disguise the right hand behind the jab. So, but I want to give him some credit. He never stopped trying to win, and that's why he gets the knockdown in the 8th. Wasn't able to follow it up with anything. Tommy Fury won the rest of that round. So, but the big reason why he lost the fight to start was the jab. Just that's the most important punch in boxing, and the right hand and the left hook can produce a lot of knockouts, and the right hand was producing knockouts for Jake Paul, and he has a better right hand in terms of punching power, not in terms of hand speed and the way it's thrown fast, but he does have a heavier right hand than Tommy Fury, but Tommy Fury pelted him with that jab all night, and all the old timers, all the boxing people will always tell you that jabs are, that the jab is the most important punch. A right hand could take you down the block, and a jab could take you around the world. And that jab, got Tommy Fury the victory primarily. And his superior hand speed, his ability to get off first with that jab, and then at a few times run 3 or 4 punch combinations in certain spots in the fight. And all Jake could do a lot of time was respond by clinching. And, that lack of hand speed compared to Fury caught up with him. Fury made him look slow at times, lunging with that right hand. And also, maybe we could find an original Showtime poster where Jake Paul lost the first round. Sometimes a lot of fighters tell you the first round is before the bell rings. It's at the press conferences, at the weigh-in, with the mental warfare and whatnot, with the preparation, and sometimes it's with negotiations. And Jake Paul, Tommy Fury, originally on Showtime, if that fight would have originally happened on Showtime like it was scheduled twice, I think that Saturday, December 18th was the reschedule. That wasn't even the first scheduling. That was another one, August 6th. I mean, I may even recall 3 different dates, but there's the August 6th date that was supposed to be on Showtime. That's the December 18th date that was supposed to be on Showtime. And if that would have went down, what would have happened, I think, is Jake Paul in America gets the benefit of the doubt. And again, I think the judges scored the fight perfectly. Split decision awarded deservedly to Tommy Fury. But that's where he lost the first round, is being so anxious to fight Tommy Fury that he pursued him overseas. which is more his neck of the woods, his political connections. And as much of a star as Jake Paul was, he didn't get that A-side benefit of the doubt in the decision. So, the where the fight took place, was one of the first missteps for Jake. But he kind of, I'm not sure about this, but may have been a little co-opted into that because the UFC guys he wants to fight, the Conor McGregors of the world, Dana, quickly caught on to the fact that Jake's going to pummel all these guys. He's going to run through the MMA fighters because, just when it comes to boxing, they show up short in the boxing ring. They're great at mixed martial arts, obviously, but he caught on to that and realized Jake Paul is going to continue to build the brand at the expense of his. And so he seemed to tighten up the noose a little bit on those contracts and not let the Conor McGregors and those guys flirt with doing a fight with Jake Paul, even though they know it'd make him a lot of money. He, because he was insistent on fighting Fury, he goes over to the Saudis, where the Saudis have a lot of relationships built up with Team Fury. So there you go. But let me read a little bit from the chat here. And by the way, I don't know who wins the rematch. I would favor Fury, but then again, Jake is still the better puncher, and his left hook did get better. Maybe he cleans a couple of things up. He was able to time Fury with his hands down with his left hand as the fight went on, then drops him in the 8th with it. But we'll see. But then Tommy Fury could just sharpen things up. He had a lot of nerves probably fighting on a stage like that for the first time. So I could see Tommy Fury improving upon it the second time. I don't think either guy's ever going to become a world champion, even though they are at one of the thinnest divisions in boxing, cruiserweight. Where shout out to Badu Jack, became a 3-division champion with a hell of a performance against Makabu, solidifying his legacy. Maybe he's not a Hall of Fame guy, but if Badu Jack would have gotten the decisions against Adonis Stevenson and James DeGale, he would be a Hall of Famer to me. And he arguably won those 2 fights, which were draws. But back to Jake and Tommy, yeah, I don't see, either one becoming a world champion. But, credit to both of them. And maybe Jake could still fight the KSI fight. I still think Jake could beat all the MMA guys that would come in a boxing ring with him. Although after losing your first fight, you either get better or other fighters get confidence from that, and it's, easier to beat you. But Savage Scavenger saying, FightHype, do you go to the fights? Yeah, I go. I've been to millions of fights. I gotta. Let me while we're at it, real quick, chat here. I'll grab a handful. Oh man, they're so tangled. Man, I got credentials on credentials of fights I've covered ringside. Yeah, going back and back and back. But so we definitely covered the fights ringside, but these fights, overseas, I don't have a passport. So a lot of these fights lately, I've been having to call them here in the office with you guys on live. But Caleb Plant, David Benavidez, Tank and Ryan, that's here in Vegas. I will be live and ringside for those fights. So yeah, and then to get deeper about it a little bit, we said what it taught us, in the title. We said, why did he lose to Tommy Fury and what it taught us and what happens next? Well, part of what it taught us, too, is something deeper about society. And I said before the fight that I didn't really like, not to hate on Jake Paul. No one put a gun to my head to do a round-by-round for him. No one put a gun to my head to continue to talk about him and feed attention to what he's doing. And on and on. But I'm not a fan of the last 25 years or so, the reality TV, the social media, the Paris Hilton, Kim Kardashian route to think, oh, here's my son. What's up, baby boy? We're in the middle of trying to get a little deep with it. Okay? Oh, we're getting a little deep with it. But say hi. Hi. So, but what I was never a fan of the ding dong of the. Here, I'll let you take it.
All right, say bye-bye.
Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So,
Say bye.
bye-bye. My little boy. But what it is the Kim Kardashian, Paris Hilton route to fame. Kind of being famous just for being famous. Maybe you've been in a couple movies or you've been on a couple of songs or you've done a couple appearances, but you're not really a Robert De Niro. You're not a Michael Jackson, a Marvin Gaye, the Beatles. Like you're not some Tupac. You know, you're not some great artist or some great actor. You're kind of famous just for being famous. You'll do anything, you know, to be famous, and not do anything to be famous, but along those lines. And I can't hate on Jake Paul for that. That's society's fault. And what does it say about society when the formula to become one of the top attractions in boxing in the 1970s and the 1980s and in the 1990s with, you know, Muhammad Ali, even in the late 60s coming out of Rome with it, to Sugar Ray Leonard in 76 winning the gold, to De La Hoya winning the gold in 92. It used to be that society meant, you know, greatness dictated fame. You know, being great at your craft, accomplishing things, you know, not just being famous because you're an attention getter. And, you know, before in boxing to become one of the top stars, like, you know, Sugar Ray Leonard won the gold medal, and then he became a great fighter in the pros, and he smiled a lot for commercials and threw fast combinations. Same thing with Oscar De La Hoya. You know, Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, they won the gold medal and then became great fighters in the pros, and that's a big reason why the public bought all their fights and they became stars. And today, in 2023 now, you know, the path to that stardom was become a famous YouTuber that, you know, does whatever to get views and then talks a lot of shit, demeans people, demeans adversaries, demeans other fighters, demeans other opponents, demeans Dana White, you know, demeans, get in there, talk your shit, demean others to get up and you know, do things to get attention, and you become famous. It's that clout. Is that they say clout is one of the new drugs. And so I just think it says something about us on society a little bit. Oh, what's happening to the stream, people? The stream all right? Just making sure. Someone said, bro, your stream. And Savage Scavenger said the Conor McGregor blueprint, right? And some people be like the Conor McGregor and the Floyd Mayweather blueprint. And they'd say, why are you hating on Jake? Muhammad Ali talked crazy to draw attention to himself. Yeah, but all those people you just mentioned, Conor McGregor, I'm not a UFC guy. He was the first champ, right? He was the first 2-division champ in UFC history. That's being great at what you do. Muhammad Ali, you know, the first 3-time heavyweight champion, gold medalist, undefeated heavyweight champion when he didn't want to go to war in Vietnam. And see, these people were great anyways, in addition to maximizing their potential, you know, drawing eyes and revenue by talking a lot. But they were great to go along with it. There was substance to go with the other stuff to bring people in. And hell, in Ali's case, he wasn't just drawing attention. He was a brilliant man, you know, discussing geopolitics, you know. So, but yeah, and I don't hate on Jake Paul for that because I'm a part of the hypocrisy. I had one of my biggest videos yesterday calling his fights. It's not personal, but I just get reflective on where have we gotten to society where we allow Jake Paul, Kim Kardashian, the baddies on the co-main event of whatever fight I was watching the other day. You know, and except we all have our hand in it, and I think it teaches us something about that, to look inward about why we're here now, you know, as opposed to 20, 30, 40 years ago. So, yes, that's what it taught us. It taught us that Jake Paul and Tommy Fury are, you know, prospects in the cruiserweight division. Maybe not blue chip prospects, but prospects. They had a competitive and suspenseful fight, not a good or a great fight. You know, a lot of clinching and some rough moments, but it was suspenseful throughout. Jake Paul never stopped trying to win, and that's why he got the knockdown in the 8th round. He never stopped coming forward. He ate some shots, to his credit. He still showed he's more heavy-handed fighter than Tommy Fury, and that's why he dropped him. But Tommy Fury was the better boxer, faster hands, has the most important punch in the book. It was no contest. He had a better jab than Jake Paul. Exposed that Jake, you know, really needs to work on that jab to set up and disguise that right hand more. You know, that's what we took away from it. In a rematch, that could still go either way. You know, I'm sure Fury this time will be the slight favorite, but you know, I get a little more. Lawrence Romero said, "You mad because I almost gave him respect? He made a bunch of excuses. You know it." What do you mean, Lawrence Romero? I'm lost about exactly what you're referencing. Oh, you guys are going back and forth in the chat, flaming each other. Got it. Have fun. But Bugs Gaming says, I think it was a more entertaining fight than most fight nowadays, honestly. I don't know. It might have felt more entertaining but because you're invested into the story. You're invested into the storyline. Whereas when it's two guys who are 10-0, 8-2, and you don't know either one of them, and they're just banging it out on an empty arena in the undercard, you're not as invested into that. I think that's what it was. That's why I said there was suspense and drama there. It wasn't because it was some great fight. It's because we know these two guys in the build-up, and it's that storyline effect that works. And championship level boxing does need to take a page out of that. I don't think they need to take a page out of, Bernard Hopkins throwing down flags and making it about nationalism. That's fun, my country against yours. Let's see who's the better fighter and all that. But, talking about the other man's daughter, that was a little bit over the line. But the lesson to learn from Jake Paul, obviously, is getting back to stories, giving people something to sink their teeth into heading into the fight beyond just it's for a belt and I trained my hardest, he trained my hardest, we'll see on fight night, we do got to get back to storytelling, and that's part of why his fight sold so well. But Talaria Film says Jake cannot box. His trainer should be embarrassed. He should fire them and get a good trainer to break him down of his bad habits, then build him up. He'll need 3 to 5 years of real training. Well, Talaria Films, I don't know. I feel like they've done a good job for a guy starting so late with no experience, at least getting his mechanics down to where he gets his weight behind that right hand and is able to knock other, men out with it. And he's resourceful. Like, he's up until this point, and he almost did in the 8th round. He finds a way. So I give them credit. BJ Flores, J. Leon Love, they've done a good job. Becca Lynn Borders, thank you very much. Scavenger saying Jake never throws combinations. He did try to throw some combinations. It's just, he wasn't able to stay on balance with it, and his hand speed wasn't up to the snuff with Tommy Fury. So he tried to open up a little bit, and Tommy would tag him, ping, ping, with quick ones, and Jake would have to reset. Sometimes just the jab would make Jake have to reset. But, I missed the super chat. Where was it at? Oh, my bad. What's up, Jack? Jack saying, based on what you saw last night, how do you think it would have gone for Paul against Hassim? I think Hassim could have, if he really went for it, could have maybe knocked Jake out in the first 4 rounds if he really would have went for it, because Hassim is a better puncher than Tommy Fury, naturally bigger guy, and Hassim, like Tommy Fury, his best punch is his jab. Hassim Jr. has a good jab. Hassim's problem is he gasses out very quickly. So that would have been a case where if Rock didn't get him out of there in the first 3 or 4 rounds, Rock might have got stopped after the 4th round, because he gets so tired to a point where you just got to help push him off the cliff at that point, because he's ready to fall out. He's tired. But I think there's a legit chance that Rock would have knocked Jake out in the first 3 or 4 rounds, because the way Fury was able to hit him in the first round with the jab and then followed it up with combinations, Rock is capable of the same, but he's hitting harder. He's hitting harder than Tommy Fury, and I definitely think whether Jake would have survived it or not early in the fight, he would have been hurt and very well dropped by Rock Jr. And if he would have survived it and Rock gassed out, then maybe Jake would have got him out of there in the second half of an 8-round fight. But I think there's a good chance Rock could have got him out of there in the first 3 or 4 rounds when he was fresh. So props to you. Thank you, Jack, for the super chat. So let me see here. Gabe Moreno saying, damn it, Sean, I want to hear the Hassim versus Jake comparison. That was it. Yeah, that was it. Hassim, like Fury, has a really good jab, and that would have been a problem. Jake would, and I said that, back on my man Sean Porter show, I said one thing I was convinced of when that fight was canceled, it was going to be a problem for Jake, and especially the jab. So, but Rock got a better right hand in terms of punching power than Tommy Fury. That's what would have happened. There's a good chance he would have knocked him out inside of 3, but if he wouldn't have, and Jake could have survived getting hurt early, and I do mean hurt. He was never really hurt against Tommy Fury. I've never really seen Jake Paul hurt, like that, to his credit. He would have got hurt against Rock early in that fight. And if he would have survived it, he could have stopped Rock once Rock gassed out. So, unfortunately, we'll never know. Jacob LX says, you playing Undisputed after? I mean, I can. I didn't plan on it. If the chat really wants it, I could play some Undisputed today. So what's next though? I think probably a rematch in all likelihood. I saw. This is what's funny is Jake Paul is funny. I don't always go for it, but sometimes he is funny. And let's let me check out what Devin retweeted. This was funny. We'll look at this with Jake for a second. Yeah. Yeah, he's a pisser. That's funny. I'll watch one last time. I can't hate. He's clever sometimes. He makes me chuckle sometimes, no doubt. That will make you feel better. For sure. $30 million, I would think, will make you feel better after taking a loss. Did you really lose? Shit, did you really lose? But why did Radio Raheem tell Logan Paul he loves him too? Shout out to my man Radio, man. Nerves can get the best of you sometimes. But I'm just happy to see him get some shine. He's worked in boxing since the early 2000s, maybe even late 90s, so happy for him. Anyways, back to the live, and we also had the best fight of the weekend was this fight, Subriel Matias and Ponce, and Matias won by 5th round TKO. If you guys caught my breakdown of that fight heading in, you knew that I favored Matias because Ponce gives up his height, and he did, and that let Matias fight at the range he likes the best. And then also the great fight we had, not great fight, but a pretty good fight and a good performance. The best fight in Saudi was my man Badu Jack. We just got to give him a quick shout out, man, because with Badu winning this fight against Makabu, see if we get an image from the fight. Well, I mean, yeah, he picks up the WBC title. Yeah, and that's what he kept doing beautifully in that fight down the stretch. Makabu was actually out-throwing and outlanding Badu Jack. And it's funny, you guys are asking me to play Undisputed, and this is what I do in Undisputed. Pick my shots, be more economical. Jack just kept sniping with the right hand. I thought some of the rounds were getting away from him. It was back and forth because Makabu was killing his body with his left hand, but you could tell Makabu was getting tired and steam was coming off his punches. But he was clearly the bigger, stronger guy, Makabu, the natural cruiserweight. Jack's not really a cruiserweight. He's a blown-up light heavyweight. But he kept sniping with that right hand, sometimes down the middle, sometimes countering. Sometimes he would eat the left hands to the body just so Makabu would stay in range, and then he'd sweep that right hand beautifully. And eventually that right hand got him out of there and got him a knockout in the 12th round. And so Badu, to go to the old box rec, Badu's now a 3-division champ. And not a whole lot of guys could say that. He won the WBC back in 2014 against 15 against Anthony Durrell, defended it against George Groves, defended against Lucien Bute, and then he wins the WBA title. It was a regular title, but he wins the WBA title against Nathan Cleverly, and now he's got the WBC Cruiserweight title. So a 3-division, 3-time champion, WBC at 68, WBA at 75, and the WBC at Cruiserweight. And if my man Badu Jack had gotten the decision here against Adonis to become lineal light heavyweight champion, and if he would have got the decision here in the draw against James DeGale, which would have made him unified lineal super middleweight champion, he'd be a Hall of Famer. So shout out to Badu. A little bittersweet, because mostly sweet, but because you solidify your career becoming a 3-division champ, you win that green belt at cruiserweight. But if a couple of those decisions would have went your way in Brooklyn and in Canada, you'd be a Hall of Famer. So shout out to Badu Jack. Shout out to Subriel Matias in that 5-round war where, actually technically 6 because Ponce didn't come out for the 6th. But Matias is a beast on offense. Leaky defense, gets hit a lot, but a beast on offense. 19 knockouts and 19 wins. I still feel like Regis Prograis would beat him. I feel like the winner of T.O. and Josh Taylor could beat him, but he's a problem at 140. So let me see here, chat. Have they added new people to the Undisputed game? No, not yet. a moment of silence for those who paid for this travesty. I paid for it. Let me see here in the chat. Half the chat be hating, says Gigamin. Alicia Craig said, do you think promoters should be worried about losing big fights to the internationals? Great question, Alicia, and thanks for asking. I really want you to be on the lookout for an interview I have dropping with Bernard Hopkins in the coming days, where we talk about just that. And basically, me and Bernard talked about, look, it better, if not now, then when? For the time for PBC, top-ranked Golden Boy Promotions to bury the hatchet and make the biggest fights, or risk losing them to places like Saudi Arabia. And the fighters are gonna take that more often than not, because if Saudi Arabia can offer you $10 million and America is offering you $5 million, where do you think they're gonna go? They're gonna go where the money is. But I think long term, that's not good for the health of the sport. Definitely not in America. I don't think worldwide it's good for the health of the sport either. Saudi is doing what they call, sports washing, and I know that that's rich to people sometimes from an American, because the United States, with all the wars we've started and our history here, but we've also done a lot of great things in the United States too. So but beyond that, they are doing that. I don't think, short term it's great. You get the bag, you get paid more over there than you would here, no brainer. But long term, it makes it harder for you to build up a following in the United States, I would think. It makes it harder for you to become a star not fighting in America. So it's a short-term gain that may hurt boxing in the long term. FightHype, my man, the man who runs the show, letting me know Haney versus Lomachenko will be in Saudi. Is that true though, BT? Did that get confirmed today? Is that on Twitter? Let me take a look. And you heard Devin pushing for it because he's going to get paid more money. So I can't hold Devin, accountable for it. He's going to do what he's going to get the money, like most fighters, almost all, maybe all fighters, forget most, would do. But I don't think it's going to be good for the health of boxing in America long term. It's already a sport that's been struggling to remain relevant in America, and that doesn't help. And we're kind of getting our karma in the United States for not treating boxing like we love her. And now she's going to go overseas to where people are willing to throw more money at her. And I don't blame the fighters. It's a little bit. The fighters, the promoters, us as media. Don't blame the fans. We all have had our part in boxing not really being able to compete with the major sports in the country since Floyd Mayweather retired. And so, the repercussions of that now are here in terms of, for all of us in media. You don't get to make as much money if there's not big fights in America to cover for the networks in America, for everyone in America. The repercussions could be beginning now of all the things people have been complaining about boxing, and the repercussions are that boxing loses its foothold as the top place. We were worried about losing it to England because they began to treat their fights with such enthusiasm and energy, but turns out it might be not, forget England, it might be Saudi Arabia. So Bernard said this should be a wake-up call in our interview to everyone. And he was holding himself accountable, too. He wasn't just pointing the finger at anyone that, now we better make some big fights to keep it going. And that's what I hope. And, I'm hoping everyone kind of puts their swords down and does what's best for boxing in the United States, because we still produce most of the best fighters. Even with the amateur program not being what it once was. You look at Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia, and Teofimo Lopez, and David Benavidez, Caleb Plant, and on and on and on and on and on. Even Mexico, with all the great fighters from Mexico, that's still North America. So that's where we're at. Boxing has got to. I hate saying this because this is what we say year after year after year, and sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you do get the great fights. I'll never forget the end of 2021, just a year and a half ago. I covered Canelo Plant, Fury Wilder 3, which was the best heavyweight fight I've seen in my in person by far, and Crawford and Porter. I got to cover all those fights in a 6-week span. Last year, not so hot in comparison. So, but yeah, it is time to we got to compete with this big money overseas, and they don't care as much. They don't care about making a profit as much. It seems like, because that's where that sports washing comes in. It's not just about making a profit for them. It's about legitimizing themselves to the West and to the rest of the world as a legitimate, world power. And, whereas in America, we're trying to make money. We're trying to turn a profit. So, it's tougher to compete now. And I hope what it leads to is, Golden Boy and PBC and Top Rank, Golden Boys reaching out to PBC and saying, hey, maybe we do Spence versus Virgil Ortiz in Cowboy Stadium, because we need to. Because that's the only way we can draw revenue out of Spence and Virgil to compete, so that we don't have to take them over to Saudi Arabia or wherever, where they're going to get enormous guarantees. We're going to have to make fights that really will draw that much money, like Ryan and Tank. Ryan and Tank's a fight that in America is going to draw enough money to where they don't have to go over there with it. So, here we go. S keeps asking, why is being a 3-weight, 3-time champ worthy of Hall of Fame? If you're referencing Badu Jack, I didn't say Badu Jack is a Hall of Famer. I said, he may not be quite a Hall of Famer, but he solidified a hell of a career by being a 3-division champion. And often there's been a lot of Julio Cesar Chavez, Alexis Arguello, 3-division champions. No one, it all depends on circumstance to circumstance. Not all 3-division champions are created equal. Certainly not. And if you're a 3-division champ like Julio Cesar Chavez or Alexis Arguello, then that holds a tremendous amount of weight. But it all depends. Were you lineal? Did you unify? All that kind of stuff. If so, MJP saying shout out to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Yeah, yes. Still shout out to the people all around the world, man. I don't mean to come off, hating on the country, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, but I'm just trying to. And there's a little ethnocentrism here. Yes, I'm an American-based media guy, so of course I want fights and boxing in America to be as healthy and as prosperous as possible. So yeah, that is my bias there. But of course, shout out to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and everywhere around the world. We're all just people trying to get along here. Yeah, depends on who you fought makes you whether you're a Hall of Famer or not with being a 3-division champion. So humanitarian douche, I love that name. Saying boxing is like a dead carcass being picked at by vultures, and I could but I know there's still people in boxing, and I'm one of them, and that love boxing for real, and we're gonna ride it till the wheels fall off. So people like us are gonna make sure help make sure that this shit stays alive and well in America. But yeah, we gotta tighten our belts right now. Let me see here. Badu Jack is worthy of Hall of Fame. He got robbed of being lineal, says S. Yeah, if Badu would have got the nod against DeGale and Stevenson, he's Hall of Fame. Yeah, no doubt about it. It's a shame he did it. Maybe against just one of them, like Stevenson. Jacoby LX, who's your favorite fighter to use in Undisputed? Sugar Ray Leonard. He's just awesome. I just love him in real life. Love using him in the game. He's great. So to look ahead to what's the big fight, the fight we got this weekend, it is Brandon Figueroa against Mark Magsayo. And I still really got to do a film study on this one, but this should be a hell of a fight. This should be a hell of a fight. You know what? Let me just go to the PBC site where they'll give me the tail of the tape. I know Magsayo's about 5'6", and I know. Let me see. I know Magsayo's about 5'6", and Figueroa is about 5'8". So Figueroa is the taller guy, but he's moving up in weight. So let me see here. Here we go. And I'll be at the fight. I will be back ringside. I'll pull up to this one, Magsayo and Figueroa. And I'm hoping to pull up all the way in New York City June 10th for T.O.'s fight too, not just cover the fights out here on the West Coast. Yeah, so let's take a look. Tail of the tape. Both guys in their physical prime, no doubt about that. 27, 26, right in their prime. Figueroa, on paper, still the bigger guy, even though he's a 122-pounder moving up. At 122 pounds, Figueroa had that Antonio Margarito effect. He's just big and overwhelming, and to take such a good shot and has power and throws 100 punches around, and he's just too big and too overwhelming for guys in that division. The big question is, will that be the case at featherweight? There's a solid chance that it is, because he's a big kid moving up to featherweight. He still, on paper, is a big featherweight. He's got 4 inches of reach on Magsayo, 2 inches of height, and he'll probably still rehydrate. I wouldn't be surprised if when they both rehydrate, Figueroa actually is a little heavier. But punch for punch, Magsayo, the hardest punch between these two is Magsayo's right hand. I just don't know if Magsayo lets the right hand go enough. It comes and goes. He'll have rounds where he doesn't let his hands go as much. Figueroa is relentless. He's going to let his hands go over and over and over again. You won't have to worry about that with him. Magsayo doesn't hold that kind of pace like Figueroa, so he could wind up losing this fight because of that. And I think that fight is really going to come down to Magsayo's right hand. If Figueroa is big and strong at 26, and he could take that right hand consistently over 12 rounds, he'll win the fight. If Magsayo doesn't have to knock him out, but if Magsayo can hurt him with the right hand, and if he gets his attention whenever he lands a hard right hand each time, he could win the fight. But if Figueroa could take that right hand, Magsayo's fucked. Figueroa will overwhelm him with activity and pressure. So Mexican, Filipino, back to the Eric Morales trilogy with Pacquiao and the 4 fights with Pacquiao and Morales, they usually tend to give us some great fights, and I think this will be a great fight. I'm going to pull up to it, and I hope you guys... I'm still going to do the live round by round. It's just I won't do it in the office. I'll be ringside for that one. I hope you guys join me. Vince Vegas saying this fight will be as good as it gets. Magsayo, like Danny Garcia, sometimes throw punches, says Johnny. Yeah, that's why I love you guys in the chat. You guys know you're boxing. Let me see here. Boston said you had a great job yesterday, says Boston's. You had a big crowd. I did, man, and it was a blast. It was a blast. Hope we can attract some big numbers, back in the championship side of things when we do Plant and Benavidez and Tank and Ryan. Johnny, will you be in LA this weekend? I'll be in Indio, so I'll be in the Southern California area. Let me see, who else? But yeah, man, a little slower today. Just doing Monday morning quarterback. And that's about it, man. That's the preview for next week's fight. I'll be there. We took a look back at Paul and Fury. Even got a little deep with it. Gave a shout out to Matias. Shout out to Badu Jack. And if you guys want, I could finish up with some Undisputed if you like. Let me know, chat. Are we going to call it a wrap, or do we want to close the show on a little Undisputed? Tank and Ryan will do numbers on here. Boston, yeah, they will. They definitely will. They'll do better numbers than Plant and Benavidez on here and on pay-per-view. But Plant Benavidez, I'm hoping it does really well too. Here, I'll pull up Undisputed just in case, just to get ready. Charlie Radley 3 says, great job last night. Oh, thank you, brother. Johnny says, I see you all the time, Sean. I'll say what's up next time. I'll be at Benavidez Plant and Tank Ryan. Yeah, say what's up, Johnny. Let's take a pic. And, let's take a picture. Throw it up on IG. And definitely come by and say hi at the Plant Benavidez fight. You'll see me running around like a chicken with his head cut off, chasing around boxers for interviews, doing all, So definitely come holla at your boy. Yeah, knock some people out. You guys got to show the chat my skills, Jacoby. Rude Dog said Rude Dog came in. He ain't even been in the chat all the time. He said play Undisputed. Vince Vegas says play Undisputed. All right, we're going to get on some Undisputed. By golly, G. We're going to get on some Undisputed, people. Hold up. Let me set up. There we go. All right, let's get it in then. You guys asked, and I'll deliver. And since someone asked who's my favorite fighter, Joe Dirt, what's up, Joe Dirt? Meet Joe Dirt. I'll come through and say what's up. Please do. I'll be there all fight week at the MGM for Plant and Benavidez, and regardless of where the fight's at in Vegas, whether it's T-Mobile or MGM, they're gonna do media week at MGM Grand. So I'll be at MGM Grand all week for Tank and Ryan as well. So, do we want to use Ryan Garcia just because he's kind of still the man of the hour with the Tank fight being announced? Or do you guys want to see me rock with Sugar Ray Leonard? Could do Canelo. I could do Tyson Fury again, even though they really didn't. They gave him like no punching power now. I could do Tyson Fury since his brother Tommy won. Play as Spence. I would play with Spence. He's not in the game though, Charles. They only got Terrence Crawford. Humanitarian douche. Again, I love that name. Respect for getting those interviews in, and you know your stuff. Thank you, man. I'm just trying to do my thing. Yeah, use Ryan, Boston. Ryan? Okay, Ryan. Let's do it. Besides, I need to play with Ryan because I got to put some clips together for like a highlight reel for him. I'm putting together clips for highlight reels of all these guys. We already got a Terrence Crawford one that's going to drop soon. Do you think when this game fully drops, you'll play competitive? Yeah, I will. I will. The problem is, look at this dude, 23-8. He's using Sugar Ray Robinson. I hate that Sugar Ray's even at lightweight. Like, I think early in his career, he may have had a couple fights at lightweight, but come on, man. He was a welterweight and a middleweight. But we got to play a guy with a good record, 23-8, and he's using the best guy in the game. We're using Ryan. You know, we're at a disadvantage, but we're going to piece his ass up anyways. Alicia Craig said, what if they add Jake Paul and Tommy to Undisputed? I heard they are. I heard Jake is going to be in the game. It's a rumor, but I heard he is.
All right. I went over the rules. I want you to
admit no one watched or paid for Mayweather's fight on Saturday. That's not true boxing. I did both.
Good luck.
But I hear you. Pacquiao fought at lightweight once. He did. He fought for a title. You know, he fought David Diaz for the WBC. So I'm cool with that. But not Sugar Ray. Picking Sugar Ray makes everyone else obsolete in the division. The only guy that could compete with him is like Crawford at lightweight on the roster. So with Ryan Garcia, you know that's what I want to do. The left hook. Many, many, many times. Like that. Like that. That's kind of, you know, Ryan Garcia. That's my thing. Whoop. We'll touch his body too. Slow him down. But for the most part, the game plan when you play with Ryan, like in real life I would think, revolves around the left hook. Wow. Oh. Look at Sugar Ray already hesitant. Woo! All day, guys. All day. All day. All day. I'm gonna keep asking this each chat, man. Anyone else a little sad that our man Dave from De La Soul Plug 2 passed? I'm gonna be playing De La Soul all year, man. That song Trying People, that's been on repeat. Go listen to Trying People by De La Soul if you haven't heard it. Amazing song. Wop, wop, wop. All day with the left hook. They missed a little detail with Ryan keeping his chin up as he throws the hook. LOL. Like, man, see, I'm winning so much, I'll read the chat while I'm piecing them up. Oh, nope, no counter for you. Bop, bop, bop. 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 I got a right hand, too. I'll throw the straight right hand. Well, that was pretty much a perfect first round for us, chat. I'm getting a little more comfortable. Johnny says, me, myself, and I. Yeah, man. Great song. The thing, too, though, Johnny, is I feel like, and I'm not saying this about you, but I feel like a lot of people, they kind of just know Me, Myself, and I and The Flowers, and they don't really know their discography. They don't know Stakes is High, The Grind Date. De La wasn't soft. Like, yeah, they had their beautiful experimental albums like 3 Feet High and Balloon Mind State. I love those albums, but they went crazy on Stakes is High and The Grind Date in terms of just ripping bars, just, you know, truth-telling, just spitting, man, like just showing their skills as MCs. Pasta Noose is easily one of my top 10, top 5. I love Pasta Noose. I love Dave, too. Dave is incredible, but yeah, Pasta is just a nasty, vicious MC. So, 1-0, though. We're up with Ryan. So, but yeah, I'm definitely giving shout-outs to De La all year. Again, just crazy discography they had, man. They got like 6 good albums. And they're all pretty different. Ready, ready, ready. People, are you ready? Let's go. Come on, Sugar Ray. If you guys watch the stream, the last couple fights I've been having, I make these guys just hesitant. Like they don't even they put their hands in their pockets and stop throwing because of that counter punching. There you go. There you go, Ray. Get yourself into the fight. Let's invest to the body. Oh, good body shot. Right back at you though, with 3 of them. Oh, with 2. Nah, don't do it. Don't. You land 1, I'll come back with 2. There we go. There we go. Start coming forward again. Start fighting. Give me something to work with. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. Piecing Sugar, the great Sugar Ray Robinson, the GOAT, piecing him up with Ryan Garcia. Not sure this is what would happen in real life, but with me on the sticks, this is what's going down, baby. Come on. Come on, Ray. Come on, Ray. Yeah, we'll take the round. We'll take the round. 2-zip. 2-zip. Derek O'Connor said Sugar Ray better win. He would, but I'm playing the game, so he's not going to win. Oh, Justin. What's up, Justin? My man on Facebook. Good to see you, Justin. Justin Provito saying, yo, I've been playing Undisputed too. I'm 84-28 right now on rank. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good record. Good to see you, brother. Trying People is a cold song, says Fire in my... It is. Beautiful song. Beautiful song. Dave, that's probably Dave's best verse. That might be their best song. The album's cool, Bionics. It's not in their top 3, but that song is incredible. What do I think of the BLK Prime news? Not surprising. It's not a sustainable business model. You know what I mean? Jacoby LX, yeah, I'll be competitive with it, or at least try to. I'm 15-0. I'm 15-0, and then I started hearing about people hacking on ranked and glitching, and I said, yeah, I'm going to just keep playing quick match and keep my 15-0 for now until they get a anti-cheat or whatnot. I mean, I'll still play some ranked match eventually, but I'm bow guarding that O. I'm like Floyd, fuck that. I'm like new school fighters, man. I ain't trying to give up the O. Fuck that. My man Justin Provito, he a true champion. He don't care. He's gonna keep getting in there and competing with the best. What? Oh, didn't need to double up on it that time. I could have brought the right hand right after that. But Ray is trying to stink me out a little bit. He's not really trying to engage, trying to make me make mistakes, and I'm not gonna do that. I'll keep picking my shot. Like that. Like that. To the body. To the body. Oh, no, we can't exchange with him. We can't exchange with him, though. His power is too much. That was dumb of me. I wasn't managing stamina. Got a little greedy. If you guys are coming in to check out my Tommy Fury analysis with Jake Paul, please go to the beginning of the video. We went over it. Pretty in-depth for about a half hour or so. Hope you guys enjoy it. But now we're just closing the show. Awesome people in the chat said, go ahead and get down on some Undisputed, Sean. We got you. So I said, awesome. Let's do it. Let's close the show with Ryan Garcia, because he's the one who got a big fight coming up, and he's on the roster. Caleb Plant's on the roster too, just not yet. When Caleb's actually on the roster, maybe he'll be on the roster in time for the Benavidez fight, and I could get some gameplay in with Caleb. But Underground Evolution of Hip Hop said, mad how fake Paul used to play the role of emo rapper Lil Peep. His music encouraged kids to drink lean. Now his brother has a drink out called Prime, putting kids in hospital. What is it with them two? Well, the conspiracy theorist in me says they're feeding the beast, brother, and that's why you see them everywhere. You know? So, but you know, but feeding the beast. This almost makes me want to start playing games again. Fire my bones. Justin said I'm just playing on ranked. I'm like 3-0 on unranked. Oh, okay. Oh, I thought that was... I believed you, Justin. I thought that was really your record, brother. Do I think there's pressure on Derek James working with AJ and high expectations? No, because if Joshua falls short, people will already... I don't think just because he's getting Derek James, people are assuming Joshua's going to become heavyweight champion again. People won't be surprised if that happens, you know? So, no, I don't really think... I think the pressure for Derek lies on the fighters he already has. Spence and Charlo. Especially Spence. But then again, there is a chance for Derek to continue to make himself look like, you know, maybe the best coach in boxing. If he can get something really good out of Joshua, some big results, it'll just further his case that, you know, he's one of the best or the best trainer in boxing. So, but I think there's more to gain than there is to lose. I think if it doesn't go well, hey, we know the guy, you know, has had some not mental issues. That's too strong a way to put it, but, you know, some mental, whatever you want to call it, in boxing, and he's lost already a couple times, and so if he loses again, it's not as big a deal. Ooh, I thought he almost dropped me with that one. And he quit. Yeah, he's mad that he didn't drop me with that one. He quit. So no, I think it's more upside for Derek. I think it's more upside for Derek than anything. Eric, is it any good? Looks stiff. Oh, the game is good. You got to try it out. It's good. I'm not shilling either. Like, I don't get shit from them. They don't even really mess with us. But no, I like the game. I love counterpunching in this game. As you can see, I landed 28 counterpunches to just one for him. I love counterpunching in this game. He quit. That's a rage quit. That's a 4th round TKO. The man had Sugar... To the winner's cam. You guys know how it goes. To the winner's cam. The man had Sugar Ray Robinson, the best guy in the game. He had a nice little record, 23-8. We made him quit in the 4th with Ryan Garcia. Just off the hook. That's how I do it, baby. You guys still undefeated on early access on the FightHype. I'm like 20-0 on these FightHype lives now. Why don't they mess with you, Bostons? I frustrate these dudes. I start counterpunching so much that they just don't want to play the game anymore. And I don't know what to tell you. That's not my fault. Ryan Garcia by 4th round TKO. No mas. Molly Mall. Sean, I always wanted to know, were you in Vegas the night T.I. ran up on Floyd? I mean, I live here, so I was in Vegas, but no, I wasn't anywhere near it. I mean, Floyd would beat the shit out of T.I. And I felt bad for T.I. that his wife danced with Floyd. He's got to check her on that. That's not cool of Tiny to be, as a married woman, be dancing with another man. She said, well, what would you do if, you were with a man with $1 billion? If you respect your husband, not do shit. But hey, I wasn't there. But I've seen, I told a great story yesterday on the stream about Floyd. I hope you were there to hear it, Boston's, about when he was watching the Paul Williams fight, and Boston saying, well, I thought you meant the developers don't mess. No, Will Kinsler's a cool dude, Boxing Fanatico, Showbiz. I talk with some of these guys. They're cool. I'm just being a little funny that I tag them on Twitter sometimes with some of my highlight reels and some of my stuff, and they don't follow me on Twitter or nothing. So I'm just being a little crabby there with that, but I support the game. I was waiting for a boxing game for the longest, and I rock with Undisputed. I play the game every day. Here, well, let's check my record. It's 15-0 in ranked, but an unranked, I got something crazy like over 200 wins. And unfortunately, they don't record 227 wins on unranked. And unfortunately, they don't record losses, but I know I got less than 20 losses. So I'm like 227 and like 18, 15 or something on unranked, 15-0 in ranked. Chillwave Session says this is the definition of a keyboard warrior who thinks they know anything about fighting. Fight me. Okay, Chillwave Sessions, I'll fight you right here and right now in this office. I'll start throwing punches at the camera and you try to slip and counter. Bang, 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 bang. Okay? Did you slip him? Oh, he got me. Oh, wait, I'm trying to cut. Oh, he split the guard. Let me back. Oh, my God. Chillwave Sessions is fucking me up on the stream. You were right. I am a keyboard warrior. You win, Chillwave Sessions. But normally I would keep it going to after someone rage quits. I'd earn the dub, but I think we'll call it a day on that. Boston's, what's the story you were going to tell? Just I'll be quicker with it. It was I'm happy you guys like that. Where's Chill Wave Sessions? Did he already leave the chat and is celebrating his victory somewhere? But the little story there we go, bro. Thanks you got a Chill Wave, and I appreciate you sticking around the chat after you pieced me up a little bit in front of everybody there. But the Paul Williams story, man. Floyd was on this site's ancestor on Boxing Talk the next day, and I see Floyd at the bar. He wasn't drinking at all, but he was in his little VIP booth watching the Sharmba Mitchell Paul Williams fight in 2006 on Boxing After Dark, and my friend wants a picture with him, and Floyd out and about in Vegas is Pretty Boy Floyd in those days, very accessible to fans, and he said, yeah, wait right here, and didn't take his eyes intently, laser focused on the screen, wait right there. And once the round was over, he called us over, he took a picture with my friend, he said, you guys have a good night. I looked up at the screen, said, oh, he's watching the Paul Williams Sharmba Mitchell fight, and I was gonna, I'm gonna catch the fight when I get home from the arcade that night at the Orleans. And so Floyd was watching intently, laser focused. The next day on BoxingTalk.com, someone in the chat says, hey man, what about a fight with Paul Williams? He says, never heard of him. And I said, man, that's the art of war right there. He knew that, seeing that big 6 foot tall, ridiculously high risk for a ridiculously low reward on fighting on Boxing After Dark in front of a half-filled arena. Floyd employed the art of war there. Said, I'd never seen that guy before, and it was funny because I knew he watched the fight from seeing him the day before at the Orleans. So it's just a funny story. So, what's the kryptonite to your boxing style and Undisputed, Jacoby? Play keep away. Just play keep away. Make me have to chase you all night, and eventually I'm gonna get irritated and start to walk into shots because I just want to get to you already. Play keep away. Play keep away. Play keep away. Wait for me to get irritated, and then I'll slowly stop. Getting into range, and I'll just try to charge into range, and you could just walk me into shots. I'll give up on countering and keeping distance, and I'll just want to get to you. So that's how you beat me in Undisputed. Just run away from me and irritate me until I say fuck it and start just walking forward, and then you could actually start punching me. But and again, Boston's, I don't tell that story to make it sound like it was Floyd was ducking. It was because I think ultimately if Paul Williams ever would have brought $200 million on the table, it's something Floyd would have entertained and probably have done. But it was this story, it was the art of war right there, exactly, Michiro, right. That's what it was the art of war kind of thing going on. But that's about it, man. We went over Jake Paul and Tommy Fury. The jab was the key. One of the first keys before they even got to Saudi Arabia was that the fact the fight was in Saudi Arabia. If Jake Paul would have got the benefit of the doubt in the United States, if that fight had went off in Showtime as originally planned, that knockdown in the end would have done enough to get him the benefit of the doubt. But it didn't, and maybe he had to take not that he had to take the Tommy Fury fight, but maybe part of why he went ahead and was so gung-ho on making sure it happened was Conor McGregor, someone like that, is still contractually tied up to the UFC, and Dana White has tightened his grip on that now that he knows his guys will lose to this kid. So yeah, we shall see what goes on forward. I expect them to have a rematch. I want you guys to rock with me on the live when I check back in Saturday night, live from Indio for Mark Magsayo and Brandon Figueroa. And be on the lookout for a dope Bernard Hopkins interview I did earlier today, over 40 minutes long, where we talk about everything. Ryan and Tank, Plant and Benavidez, Fulton and Inoue, Terrence Crawford, and what he should do next, and the state of boxing in America and having to compete with all these fights going overseas to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So, fire in my bones. Do I think Colbert will come back strong and live up to his potential? We'll find out on that undercard with Raul Valenzuela. It's one guy, Raul Valenzuela, who punches hard but has a very poor defense at this level, versus Chris Colbert, who has really fast hands, some of the fastest hands in boxing, and has flashed legit skills in the past, but didn't show up at all. Completely flat against Hector Garcia. So we'll see. That's a really good matchup on that card between Ryo and Colbert. You know, it's dicey for Chris because Ryo doesn't have to be as perfect, and he can punch. He can make up for some of his deficiencies and flaws with power, and Colbert's not a puncher. But if Colbert is on his P's and Q's, and if both fighters are on their A game, I favor Colbert because not always, but more often than not, skills pay the bills, and Colbert is more skilled than Ryo Valenzuela. So we'll have to see. But then again, Ryo, he has a much better punching power, and he still has talent too, even though De Los Santos, stopped him. He's really just got to work on his defense, Ryo Valenzuela. But that's going to be a good fight. But other than that, I hope everyone enjoyed everything. Humanitarian Duchesne, cool. Have a good rest of your days. You guys have a good rest of your days too. Want to appreciate those who came in for the Z-Cap, and keep it locked in here on Fight Hype, man. Everyone stay blessed.